Minecraft has been around since 2011, but has it stood the test of time? More importantly though, can I stand the test of time against it? Well, today we are going to find out whether or not I can survive 100 days alone in a 1.17 hardcore world. Just like any other world, I decided to use a seed of my own. I really want you guys to be able to follow along my treacherous journey on this world, and if you want to play on a specific seed, just use this seed, 100 Days Vanilla Mossy. Now, this is my first ever 100 Days video, and if you don't know, these videos take an extremely long amount of time to make. 100 Days of Minecraft is almost 40 hours of gameplay in-game. With that being said though, I would really appreciate a like on the video, and if you get to the end of the video and decide you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe. Also, a quick shout out to my friend Guilty for having me try out this type of video. Without him, this series certainly would not be happening, and I can also say with confidence he has amazing content for 100 Days Survival. So, if you want to see other videos like mine or better, look around at his. They are amazing. Now, let's get on with the video. So day 1, I loaded into a world surrounded by an acacia biome. It's very important to point out that I've not really ever been in one of these biomes, as they do not have many bonuses to being in them. So I was completely out of my comfort zone. After doing a quick check around getting a zone of assessment, I spotted some horses. Take note of the vast amount of horses available, because soon enough, these will be very useful. Although I was uncomfortable in this biome, thankfully, the beginning of any hardcore Minecraft world starts the exact same. Chopping wood and making wooden tools. So that's exactly what I did. I quickly made a wooden axe. Wood actually ended up being a massive struggle for me, but I made it work nonetheless. I killed some chickens for some food because in hardcore Minecraft you can actually die from hunger, and I was not going to succumb to that. After killing some chickens, I spotted some cows, and since steak is one of the best foods around, I had to gather some of their meat to preserve my hunger. I also knew that leather was going to be needed for an enchantment room later on. After killing some cows, I spotted a village. This was a pleasant surprise, a gift from the gods. I was going to take advantage of anything I could find here. In the first house of the village, I found a saddle and some apples in a chest. Remember how I told you to keep the horses in the back of your mind? Well, we were going to get some fast horses soon enough. One important detail to see here is the bed I found. I didn't have any wool yet, and so I didn't have a bed. With it being hardcore, the mobs were going to be very tough, and so sleeping the night away was going to be a necessity. I looted some of the other chests in the village, but I didn't find anything really special. Just some more food. After passing by a few times, I noticed the hay bales on the side. These were going to be essential to my survival. I could turn the hay bales into wheat and back into tons of bread. After fully exploring the village, I decided I wanted to explore and see what the surrounding area looked like. But oh, if only I knew what treasures laid ahead. I found this super cool incomplete nether portal. This is my first time coming across one of these, and I found some goodies to go along with it. Sadly though, I did not realize that a gold pickaxe does not actually break a gold block. RIP the gold block. I had a major panic attack here. I came so close to falling in lava and just ending the video right here. Thank goodness I clipped the edge of the block next to it. I found some sugarcane and grabbed it. I would need this in the future to make paper for more books, so I might as well grab it now. My luck so far though has been insane on this seed, and finding this desert temple really topped it off. After grabbing the TNT from below, I took the loot out of the 4 chests. In reality, it wasn't that good, but the horse armor was going to be very useful. Using the iron that I got from the desert temple, I decided to make an iron pickaxe, sword, and axe. These tools were going to be very useful in the future. I found this really weird water well. I've seen this around before, but I've never really known what they do. If you have an idea of what they do, please tell me in the comment section down below. Once again, my luck pushed through. If you look closely here, I found a sea temple. These are extremely dangerous, so I certainly won't be trying to take this down anytime soon. Right after discovering the sea temple, I found a super rare ice spike biome. I love this biome. The spikes look amazing. I found these super cute polar bears, but I must say, the mama bear was not near as happy to see me. I landed on a new island, but it was still an acacia biome. In all of my years playing Minecraft, I've only seen a handful of these biomes, so it's quite crazy seeing them so common. I spent a minute or two taming this horse. This guy will be awesome for transport. I'm trying to think of a name for him right now, but I'll come up with one soon. After taming the horse, I threw the gold armor on it and went around exploring, trying to find other cool areas. I didn't have to travel long until I found another village. This time though, there were some very special goodies waiting for me. I was poking around, and then out of the corner of my eye, I spotted it. Another desert temple. This was the second one so far, and there was more to come. There wasn't much loot in this temple, but the diamond horse armor was definitely a really good bonus. I found some iron ore and grabbed it. You can never really have too much iron. As sad as it was, I realized I needed a pack mule to haul around all of the extra items in my inventory. This meant I had to leave behind my beloved horse, which we have yet to name. But don't worry though, we will be back for him in the future. After roaming around the world for a few minutes, I finally found a place to live. This was in a nearby village that was not in acacia or desert biome. We would set our homestead up here. As night came, I knew I needed a rest. I didn't want to risk losing these lovely villagers though. I don't know what it is about this seed, but it's crazy. I just found another temple, and also an outpost. We are really getting lucky with the loot here. I scouted out the outpost. I knew I would eventually try and get that precious loot sitting at the top of the building, but I also knew that if I went in with the armor I currently had, I would certainly be put to death by the everlasting assault of arrows by the pillagers. I decided to go and grab some wood. As I said earlier, wood was going to be a challenge to get at first. Wood is one of the most important resources you can get, and so I had to get some more. I decided to grab some coal that was on the surface, but that was when I saw it. One of the coolest and most vibrant mobs I've ever seen in Minecraft, a glow squid. It only stuck around for a minute before it died from not having any water, but I needed to find some more of these. I absolutely love them. After chopping down a tree, I turned around and saw something amazing. A wandering trader. This is extremely important. Not because of the trades, but because the llamas drop leads. This would help me transport my horses around so much easier than before. I started to design my house, but I quickly realized I didn't have enough wood. I also needed to get this house down soon because once it got dark, mobs were going to be surrounding me from all sides. It was going to be an all-out war. After a close encounter with a creeper, I decided to head back to the village and sleep the night away. I was not going to get exploded by a creeper in the dark. In the morning, I decided I would start transferring my items over. We still had a long ways to go, but I wanted to get items moved as soon as possible. I found another abandoned nether portal. It took me a minute to find the chest, but the obsidian in the chest was really worth it. I decided to go on a giant mining trip. I needed iron armor to take out the outpost, and I knew I could get it in one good trip. I made a shield for the first time ever. This is going to be an essential item if I wanted to survive against these mobs, especially skeletons. After fighting some more mobs and getting some copper, coal, and iron, I discovered a mine shaft. The amount of ores and loot in this was absolutely crazy. I came around the corner here and my heart absolutely dropped. I saw a cave spider. In any other difficulty, these little guys aren't very dangerous, but in hardcore mode, they will poison you and also do a lot of melee damage. It wasn't long until I was sitting at half a heart. After calming down and healing up, I took care of the spider and then I finished making up my iron armor. I needed it to survive. I was not dying to some baby spider. I decided to look around the mineshaft to see if there are any minecarts laying around, but when I turned the corner, I couldn't believe my eyes. A zombie spawner. This was going to change the way we played significantly. I went and lit up the zombie spawner so I could make an XP grinder. And once I opened the chest, I was delighted to see a name tag. This meant we could finally name our horse. I found this really cool book that had Frostwalker on it. I've never used this enchant before, so I'm definitely gonna have to give this a try. I instantly started construction on the XP grinder. I had enough resources for now to be comfortable going home with what I had, so I figured I would create the grinder while I was down here. Another thing with dungeons though, is that the cobblestone is Mossy cobblestone, and this suits my name perfectly. I grabbed the iron that was in my furnace and then went back and took the torches off the spawner. If I fell into the horde of zombies that was about to spawn, then that would be it for me. I would not make it out alive. Removing the torches went flawlessly, and before I knew it, I had zombies piling up ready to be slayed for their beloved XP. I was so excited for this. I packed up my stuff and decided to head out of the mine. Of course not forgetting to leave some sort of tower to show me how to get back in the future. Upon arriving at the surface, I was met with a question. Which way did I come from? I looked around and decided to go this way, and although it was the wrong direction, it led me to a great discovery. Another desert temple. This is the third one so far, and each time the loot has gotten a little bit better, so let's hope for something good this time. I was in luck. There were a ton of horse accessories. We managed to get a few pairs of horse armor and also another saddle. This was awesome. After looking around for a bit longer, I finally found the old abandoned nether portal, which I knew was very close to my base. We were almost home. Passing by the menacing pillager outpost, I swung by with a grimace on my face. I knew they were going down hard and very soon. I had the gear I needed to take this one on with ease. I found another horse and tamed it. This would be my riding horse for the time being until I returned to grab my other horse. We finally made it home, albeit it was not much of a home yet, but soon enough we would be adding onto it. After dropping off all of my items at the base, I decided to take on the pillagers. This came with no problems at all. That was until I tried to leave. I was instantly ambushed by a horde of pillagers. This was really scary, and I could have died here. but if you guys know me at all, I always pull through. If you look, you can see an army of pillagers. This was going to be a problem, not only to me, but the village that lurks just 100 blocks away. I knew it was only a matter of time until the pillagers raided my beloved village. I ran back to the house and slept my night away. I needed the rest. It had been a long day. When I woke up, I realized that my house was not made at all. I was going to fix that, starting of course with some lovely windows. Thankfully, I knew exactly where to get a lot of sand. I decided to throw on a few small decorations around the house, starting with a cobblestone staircase border. I'm not a great builder, but eventually we will get there. I then decided to use some of the mossy cobblestone as part of the flooring. I love the look of the block, and it just goes so well with my name. After a little more construction on my house, I knew I needed to get some wood, so I went off exploring in a direction I had not gone before. Or so I thought. After a few minutes, I was delighted to see another abandoned nether portal. When I reached the top of the sandy ridge, which was just ahead of me, I was really hoping for some good loot here. The chest was filled with gold goodies. Sadly though, none of them had any enchants. Is okay though, I would find more of these in the future. I finally found a tiny little forest for which I could get some oak wood, but more importantly though, I could grab a few saplings to cover my homeland with some lovely trees. This was a huge step towards finally getting a good amount of wood at home. I reached the top of the tiny mound and I looked to my left, and I couldn't believe my eyes. There it was in all of its beauty, a pink sheep. I've not seen one of these for a very long time, so it was a pleasant surprise to see it in the wild. I inspected the sheep a little bit closer, and I almost thought of killing it, but it was just so beautiful that I just couldn't do it. This little guy was going to get to live. I grabbed my horse and decided to head back home. I had what I needed, but on my way back, I saw a group of cows and I needed the food. These poor guys did not stand a chance. Well, you know how I said I was going home? Well, I thought I was, but in fact, I was going the opposite direction. I guess I'm just terrible with directions. Thankfully though, this led me to a wonderful discovery, a place where I could get a ton of wood. So that's exactly what I did. After getting some more wood and saplings, it started to get dark on me very fast. And since I was far from home, that meant the mobs were going to be present. I had to fight my way through the horde of them, but eventually I made it out and started on my way home. I was wondering if I was getting close to home when I saw that lovely pillar of cobblestone I made earlier from my mob spawner. I knew I was very close to being home. Ah, home sweet home. Well, it really wasn't sweet yet, but in the morning we would fix that. After a good night's rest, it was time to start working on my house. As I said earlier, I'm not a great builder, so please bear with me on this, but in the end, I was still happy with how it looked. I went with more of a barn-themed build. I usually build just square roofs, but I did not want to be that boring. I wanted to be cozy and have a nice little shack to live in. Maybe in the future though, we will expand onto the base. I decided to make the internal glass all white stained glass. I liked the look of it and I thought it went well with the build and environment. After getting the roof done, I decided to make a second floor for more storage and space. It was just a little bit too cramped for the animals and myself. I needed more room. I finished off the flooring above and then started the lot transfer. I had really accrued a ton of items since the beginning, and I didn't want to lose any of them. So I had to be careful about how many items I put on the ground at once. Since it was hardcore mode, that meant zombies could break down my door at any moment, and I did not want this happening. So I decided to make some cheap iron doors and pressure pads to make sure the inside of my house was secure and sound. I was really starting to feel safe. I broke the last chest, and inside that chest was my stack of hay bale blocks. I needed the food, and it was time to turn those blocks into wheat. We turned that wonderful wheat into bread. We had a solid food supply for now, but I wanted to eventually move into potatoes. I went and harvested some of the trees I planted earlier. I needed more wood after using it all in my house, and these saplings were a blessing to me. Of course I had to replant them right away, or I'd have to go out foraging for more wood later. I crafted an iron hoe and went to work on a small farm. As I said earlier, I wanted to use potatoes for my source of food, and with the tiny pond in my backyard, this was going to be easy. I crafted up some bone meal that I had gathered from the skeletons and desert temples and used it on the potatoes. I only had 9 at the time, but after using the bone meal on them, I had plenty to go around. I decided I wanted to put a cobblestone wall around the farm because I did not want any intruders coming in and destroying my crops or harming my animals. I finished the wall and added a few torches on it. What is the point of a wall if mobs can spawn inside of the area I fenced in? Also, tell me what you think about the wall. Are you a fan of it or not? I transferred my animals outside so they weren't stuck on the cold cobblestone floor. They would finally be able to have as much grass as they wanted and live in a lovely environment. I was running low on iron and other resources and I wanted some diamonds. So I started to create my own little mine shaft. This was going to take a lot of time, but it really needed to be done. I found this cave, and when I dropped into it, I found this awesome dripstone. This is my first encounter with the block, and I must say, it looks amazing. I continued to explore and excavate the cave of all of its ores. This was awesome. I was getting a ton of materials. After getting everything out of the cave, I figured I would just try my luck strip mining, and to my surprise, we found some diamonds. Not just 1 or 2 diamonds, we found 6. This was going to be awesome. I was ready to get rid of my iron pickaxe. I was so happy I had some diamonds, and just a few minutes later, I found some more gold. I wasn't really sure what I was going to use it on, but I was happy nonetheless to see it. I was just about to go up to the surface when I spotted another diamond. This brings us up to 7. This had been a very successful trip so far. I actually decided to stick around and try to scavenge some more diamonds. I'm very thankful I did because it really did pay off. I found quite a few more diamonds, and before I knew it, I had almost enough for an entire set of diamond armor. Something really funny about the trip was when I resurfaced. I was actually only a few blocks away from my village. I couldn't believe that such riches were just a few blocks below my feet. I needed an upgrade. I wasn't going to take down the dragon with unenchanted armor. I needed an enchantment table. After my giant mining trip, I could afford to spare a diamond or 2 on some upgrades. Enchantments were a major upgrade for the world. However, I did not want to be sitting in an iron armor the entire time. We went ahead and crafted ourselves a diamond chestplate. This cost me 8 diamonds. After harvesting some farms and chopping down some trees, I came back to my house to find a wandering trader wandering around. I enclosed him up in some cobblestone. I contemplated on what exactly I was going to do next. After taking care of the villager, I figured we should set up a tiny animal farm. I needed some steak and also a good amount of wool for an upcoming project. Now I bet you all were thinking I was going to forget about this little guy, but I couldn't. He had literally been with me from the start. It was time to bring him home. Earlier while mining, I found some super cool axolotls, and I wanted to preserve them in a nice area. So I set out some time and created a small little lagoon for the axolotls to roam free in. I decided to name one of them Randall. This is because one of them really reminded me of the evil purple creature from Monsters Inc. I thought the name suited it perfectly. I then decided to go out on another mining trip. However, I quickly stumbled upon another temple. This seed is filled with these things. I highly recommend trying it out. There was nothing good in the temple, but nonetheless, it was really cool to find another one. I couldn't believe with how many I had found. I thought that was where my luck was going to run out. However, I quickly realized that this was not the case. Look at this amazing blacksmith's chest I found in the village. It had so much obsidian. I finally got down to the mine, and before I knew it, we were uncovering some lovely little blue diamonds. I knew this was going to be an awesome trip. I really started to feel like a diamond magnet. Almost every corner I turned, there seemed to be diamonds. I had never had this much luck mining. I was very happy. I finished my mining trip and instantly began construction on my enchanting room. My house wasn't big enough at the time to fit an entire setup in it, and so I figured why not build a place to hold everything. I've realized now that I enjoy building with wood. This is good, but it also means I'm going to have to really farm my forest. We were going to need a lot of wood. We finished up construction on the building and instantly enchanted our pickaxe to level 30. We got very lucky again and managed to get a silk touch pickaxe on the first try. After that giant mining trip, I figured we had enough diamonds to go to full diamond armor. This was a huge upgrade. It was going to take more than just a zombie or 2 to take me out of this world. I really didn't like how there was no path to the enchanting room, and so I made a small dirt path to it. It didn't take me long to do, but I was very happy with how it looked when it was finished. With my new armor, I figured it was time to put it to the test by going to the Nether. I'll admit, I was pretty scared to go through that portal, but in the end, we made it through. We spawned in a really weird biome, so I made a mine all the way to the main portion of the Nether. This led me to a warped forest biome. This is the first time I've ever been in one of these biomes, and I must say, they are insanely cool. With our silk touch pickaxe, we started to collect any ores that were near us, as we were looking for another fortress to find the elusive blaze. I had a nice project lined up for all the ores we were going to get. Thankfully, I didn't have to search for too long before finding the fortress. It was only a few blocks outside the forest biome I just came from. It was time to find some blazes. I finally found the blaze spawner inside the fortress, and I farmed to get a good amount of blaze rods. I totally didn't almost die while doing it though. I found this insanely cool biome just outside the fortress and harvested some bone blocks from it. Tell me in the comment section below what it is called because I have absolutely no idea. I was trying to leave the Nether and couldn't find my way back completely, but luckily I found this abandoned Nether portal that was almost complete, and using my obsidian I had gotten from the chest from the fortress, I completed it and went through. I found a horse nearby, tamed it, and took it back home. This had been a very long but eventful journey. I went on another small mining trip. I know it seems like I've done a lot of mining recently, but I've also used up a lot of my diamonds. I was broke. Remember how I was telling you I had a small project lined up for all of my extra ores from the Soak Touch? Well, it was time to put that plan into action. Enjoy this time lapse, and I sincerely appreciate all of you for watching. After taking care of all of our ores, it was time to get ready for the dragon fight. But just normal protection and armor was not going to do it for us. Thankfully, we had a good way of getting to level 30. The zombie spawner was really going to be a blessing here. Although I spent a lot of time putting up this structure, and it certainly was going to take me a lot longer to take it down. But we seriously got a substantial amount of materials from this. It was all worth it. Look at all these diamonds. With our fortune pickaxe, we gained a lot more from this than I should have. This is exactly what we needed to fuel our fight for the dragon. Check out this amazing bow that I got on my first try. I could not believe my eyes when I saw it. I got infinity. This solved our massive arrow problem. After gearing up, I decided it was time to go look for the stronghold. I want to put a note out here that I have never fought the dragon in a solo Minecraft world. This actually is my first ever survival world. So if you have any suggestions on what to do in the future, please tell me and I'd appreciate any tips on how to make my experience better. Our Eye of Ender finally pointed backwards. We were right above the stronghold. My heart started to beat rapidly. I was nervous, very nervous. It was showtime. After exploring the stronghold for what felt like an hour, we finally found the portal. I almost got hit in by a silverfish, but thankfully we took care of that. Enjoy the time lapse of our wonderful battle with the dragon. As the final shot hit the dragon and experience exploded out of it like a piñata, I felt a sense of accomplishment. I had just killed the dragon by myself for the first time. I grabbed the dragon egg and then instantly went into the other portal to go hunting for an elytra. This is another task I've never done before, and I vastly underestimated the amount of blocks I was going to have to travel to get to an end city. Thankfully, after a few days of traveling, we managed to find a ship. This was it. I knew all I had to do was fight through the horde of shulkers, and the highly sought after elytra was mine. I completely forgot that there was a giant head on the front of the ship, and thankfully I saw it out of the corner of my eye and grabbed it. This was going to be a really cool addition to my house, along with the egg and elytra, of course. As we soared across the sky in our newfound elytra, I knew the next thing I wanted to do was tackle the wither. And to do this, we were going to need a lot of iron. This was of course for the beacon, because what is the point of killing the wither if you can't have a super beacon, right? I spent a few days mining, grabbing every ore that came near me. By the end of it, we really had gathered a substantial amount of not only iron, but gold, copper, and most importantly, diamonds. After returning to base, we started our final project of the 100 days. This would take me a substantial amount of time, patience, and wood. We were going to build a giant base to house all the items we had gained over the past 100 days. Most of the wood was going into the actual pillars around the house. In total, I bet I spent over an entire inventory of logs on this base. You'd be surprised how expensive wood stairs can get, especially when you need a couple hundred of them. I spent many hours over the following days to get the base ready, and when it was done, I was extremely happy with it. Now, I'll admit it is not fully completed. We actually ran out of time, and if you want me to continue this house, make sure to leave a like down below and consider subscribing. If the support is there, I would love to make a continuation series of 200 days for this world. If you're curious as to what version of shaders these are, they are called Seuss Renewed. They are by far my favorite shader pack, and I would highly recommend them. Enjoy these shots of the house, I love it so much. As the sun set, my 100 days on this world had expired. I had actually done it. I had survived 100 days in a Minecraft Hardcore 1.17 world alone. This was a big achievement for me, and I want to continue this adventure. Be on the lookout for another video somewhat similar to this. I've got big plans ahead in the future. I love you all, have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later. Peace.